time to turn our attention to a talkSPORT legend now, and it's the best clips from his year of shows on the warm-up with Alan Brazil and with Danny Kelly. It is, of course, the one and only, the unforgettable, the incomparable, the completely mad Mike Parry. And we start with Mike and Danny Kelly on the warm-up talking music.
And, of course, you watched it every week. That was the only place you could see live bands and live music. So we knew all the words of every group that was number one for more than 1 week.
Could you sing along to this?
No.
So when you say every song.
Yeah, but not that one.
Yes.
Of course, though, being Mr. Parry, he felt duty-bound to give it a go.
I know the chorus.
Yeah.
Don't you want me, baby?
Well, we'll get to that.
I'll join in the chorus there. And I know the first words as well, when I saw you there on the Saturday
You were
night.
working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Oh, you were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. When I saw you there on a Saturday night, don't you want me, baby?
No Saturday night involved. There's no Saturday night.
Absolutely murdered.
Not at all.
Brilliant.
He's clearly something of an expert on 80s music, of course, Mike. If this reworking of T'Pow is anything to go by.
We'll talk a bit about China before the end of the show.
China
immediately,
on my
David
mind.
Vincent.
China on my mind.
Is it George on your mind or is it China in your hand? I've got absolutely no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
This is Mike telling us about his close connections to the Everton hierarchy.
I knew the last two chief executives very well, Robert and the people before him.
Yeah,
That's
very
right.
close friends, Robert and the people before him, of course. Very close friends. Here's Porky talking Arsenal.
They didn't, and I mean the club collectively, and Unai in particular, they didn't address the Mesel Ozit issue when they should have done.
Mesel Ozit.
What a fine band they are, the Mesel Ozit issue.
They're very,
Sure
they're
they
very
play one
good.
of our jazz things.
Yeah. Now, we heard this on the Christmas Eve special yesterday, but let's take you back to this all-time classic from Mike with Andy Townsend that we wheel out every Christmas.
I enjoy a packet of peanuts with a pint of shandy.
I know where you're coming
Now,
from.
I want to know what the peanuts are first. So people think I'm mad. I go into the pub and say, hi, how you doing? What can I get you, sir? I said, well, first of all, what sort of peanuts do you sell?
What kind of what do you sell, Mike?
Well, we discovered earlier in this year that at least a decade on from that clip going out, he still can't say peanuts.
He can't say peanuts.
Tell them peanuts don't grow on trees. Hashtag plank. Paul in Mitcham.
I know very well that peanuts do not grow on trees.
Peanuts, Mike, for goodness sake.
It's the most unfortunate, isn't it?
Here's the latest in our series, Mike Parry on art.
I mean, he's so successful now. He's my favourite, greatest living artist. John Constable is my favourite living dead artist.
My favourite living dead artist.
How does that work?
I've got no idea.
Here's another entry for the series.
Most of them didn't come to greatness until after they died, and their paintings were... I mean, I think it was the bloke who cut his ear off. That was...
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. I think Van Gogh only sold one painting during the
Absolutely.
whole of his life.
Yeah.
And paintings by Van Gogh now, is it irises? Was that his?
No, sunflowers.
Sunflowers, that's
Yeah.
the one. It was something like that, yeah.
Who's a bloke who cut his ear off? He gets straight to the root of it, doesn't
One of
he?
the famous paintings
Yeah.
of all of art. It's brilliant.
It's not just the art world that Mr. Parry is clued up on, of course. He's something of a culinary expert, too.
I would never eat rhubarb unless it was like what's the stuff they put on top of rhubarb? Crumble.
It's the great unintentional comic timing of the man, really. Or maybe it is intentional and the joke's on us. I don't
Well,
quite
it may
know.
well be. Don't worry, though. I'm sure he'll be much better in his home territory of football. Here he is talking Manchester United.
Can they keep up the momentum? Yes, they can. Is Ole Golly Sunshar the right man for the job?
Golly Sunshar?
He's definitely not the right man.
I don't think he is. Then Mike, again, now talking James Bond.
You know, they love to see Craig Daniels sitting there because he is 007.
Craig Daniels? Good old Craig Daniels.
I preferred Connery Sean.
He was very good, Connery Sean.
Right, where are we now?
It's Mike with a classic football quote.
And then they won the cup. And then they won the Champions League. That famous quote from Sir Alex Ferguson: "Football, bloody hell."
Isn't it? Where's that come from?
Well, he is from
Welsh?
Wales.
Is he Welsh? Sir Alex Ferguson? Yeah, Mike is. He's Welsh.
Now, Mr. Parry, describing his childhood ambitions.
I thought, I want to start earning a living. B, I want to do something productive. And B, I was smarter than the average bear.
Not really. Whatever happened to C? Fantastic, isn't it? Dear me.
Brilliant.
This is Mike talking about his preferred choice of accommodation.
a surge in people living in bungalows in this country. I couldn't live in a bungalow if it was the last place to live. I'd rather live in a tent. How can people live in bungalows? How can you not go upstairs to bed?
Well, you'd have a tent you've got, Mike. You spent quite a lot of money on your tent with an upstairs. Fantastic little canvas staircase.
Porky with Danny Kelly now, discussing a literary classic.
Wasn't Whitby where Dracula landed?
Whitby was where Dracula landed. What's his name? Stan Broker.
Oh, yeah, good old Stan Broker wrote Dracula, didn't he, Stan? Yeah. I think he had a bookmakers in Morecambe, didn't he? Good old Stan Broker. I now know what you're thinking. How did Mr. Parry commemorate St. Patrick's Day earlier in the year? Well, how do you think?
The summer's gone and all the flowers dying. 'Tis you. You must go and I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow. I won't sing the whole thing.
Yeah, good job. Danny Kelly, a proud Irishman, having to sit there and listen to that be destroyed.
I do like them together, though.
Yeah. And we finish with one of our favourite clips of the year. It's a long clip, but please stick with it. And again, the brilliant unintentional comic timing of Mike Parry is very much at the fore. The payoff is very much worth it. It's Danny Kelly on the warm-up, regretting asking Mike the question, how do you get from Bournemouth to Goodison Park?
What happens is you come out of Bournemouth, you go along the Westway, you then head down the A27, and then you see the sign which says M3. So you go left onto the M3. You're now on the M3 heading up towards the M25. However, being smarter than the average bear, you only go as far as the A34, and you come off the A34, and then you're heading towards the Midlands. Now, the A34, if you stay on it, will take you all the way to Salford in Greater Manchester, which isn't any good if you're going to Goodison Park, obviously, but it goes right to the northwest of England, okay? However, again, smarter than the average bear, you then get onto the M40, and then the M42 to go around Birmingham, onto the M6, okay? And by the way, again, if you're smart, you can pay £5 or £6 on the toll road, yeah. The toll road, and get through it much, much quicker than the ordinary M6. It brings you out just shy of Junction 8, which is the A5. You go off left on the A5, and you go along that road there, under Iron Bridge, which was built by Thomas Telford and all that. Then you turn right up the A41 and you're heading to Chester. You then go along that carriageway, you pick up the M53, you go shooting down the Wirral, you go through the Kingsway Tunnel, you then come up on the other side, obviously, on Merseyside, you go into Everton Valley and onto maybe the car park at Stanley Park. You are then a 200-yard walk away from Goodison Park. Easy.
How often does this go wrong with roadworks and things, this journey for you?
I never do it now. If I go to Goodison now, I do the train.
Yeah. Or you could use a sat-nav, I was thinking.
Oh, that's fantastic. So there we are. The best from Mike Parry over the last 12 months. Still